Hey, and good afternoon. This is Angela Brown, and I'm here today with James Copeland. And I am super excited about today's show because we've got so many interesting things happening today. James is the Director of Technical Services at Prism Specialties, and he's going to help us unpack appliances and how to keep them clean and how to make sure that they're in working order. Now, this is a really, really interesting niche, and I cannot tell you how excited I am today to hear from a specialist about appliances because I get a lot of questions and we do it the best we can as cleaners, but from somebody who has the technical know-how, that's a whole different ballgame. So please help me welcome James Copeland. Yay. I'm so glad you're
Thank
here today.
thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Do you have any advice for cleaning hoods and filters? I know lots of people have like grease and stuff that goes up there and then it's kind of a mess.
Absolutely. So there's two types of filters. There's metal and charcoal. Charcoal you typically just replace. That's replaced annually or about 120 hours of cooking time. That's a good rule of thumb to use. As far as the metal, you're going to have a couple different types. You're going to have baffle, which tends to be mostly stainless. Then you're going to have a mix of aluminum and stainless steel for the mesh. So like any type, the thing that has aluminum, avoid putting it in the dishwasher, avoid using any type of corrosive cleaner on it, baking soda, things like that. You can do a quick little research and find the things that will react negatively, like ammonia, with that aluminum. So pull them out. Anytime that you have the heavy cooking season, like the holidays, even if you're not cleaning the whole range and hood, at least clean the filters. Pull them, set them in some hot water, and it always goes back to the manufacturer. I've read some manufacturers' recommendations on using ammonia for the stainless steel baffle type. You put them in a trash bag with ammonia, set it outside, and you can do the whole rinsing. I'm not a big fan of using anything that has heavy fumes. I like green approaches, easy, and just staying consistent. It works for me. As far as the mesh, I would soak them in hot soapy water, making sure that I rinse them completely to get rid of all soap residue, and then making sure that they're fully dry. Once you remove the filters up inside, if you got any grease that's sitting there, you can make that baking soda water paste. I think it's like half a cup to a few tablespoons of baking soda with a little toothbrush, and you can just put it on the spot, let it sit 15, 20 minutes, scrape it off and wipe it clean. But what I want to stress that's most important is doing everything you can to use a flashlight and look up where the fan is and see if you can see up in the duct. If you're starting to see an accumulation of grease, it's time to call out the professionals and have that vent clean because that can create a structure fire. So hoods are sucking in all that. You can get heavy splatter. And maybe if you start to neglect the filters, it's just going to continually move through till it gets up past the filters. So, but as long as you're maintaining it and going, you don't have to do that as much. But the further neglect you do, the more extreme measures you're going to have to take. And I would really call out a professional so they can look at the most cost-effective solution for you as a homeowner to ensuring that you're mitigating all these risks of structure fires or any type of damage or failure.
And I'm really glad that you brought that up because there are little tiny things that we can do when we cook. There are ways that we can cook, like with lids and things like that, that will help contain some of the grease. And from a cleaning perspective, please, please, please contain all of your grease. When it goes up the sides of your cupboards and it gets on the ferns that are above your cabinets and everything, and it gets on your trinkets and your ornaments and it's thick in the air, and then it settles on all of your stuff, it's just a mess and it's hard to clean because then when the dust kicks through your house, it sticks on that grease and it's just nasty. I love what James is saying about regular maintenance. So thank you very much. And I would be remiss, I have to ask this question. This is another one that we get asked a lot. It's about the plastic or the rim. We see it oftentimes in either the garbage disposals where we get lots of gunk there or inside the washing machine in those front load washing machines where there's a big gasket and then there's this little overlap and there's gunk that gets in there and then it molds. How do we clean those?
Yeah, so great point. What's going to help you clean your garbage disposal is going to help your dishwasher because oftentimes the dishwasher is connected to your garbage disposal. So a lot of them, if you do some research, you'll see that they say not to use the ice cube and the lemon wedge technique. Simply what you can do is get kind of like a baby bottle brush or a beaker brush, and you can use some dish soap and mild detergent, some warm water. You can clean out the rubber baffles that go down into it. And then what you can do is just simply pour some vinegar down in there and then you use, I think of like maybe a half a cup of baking soda and a cup of vinegar. You can pour that down in the garbage disposal, let it sit. Okay. And by the way, cut the power off before you're sticking that brush down in the garbage disposal, and don't stick your hand in there. It's not necessary. You can clean those baffles and get that off. But when you got the power off and you put the baking soda and vinegar in there and letting it sit, boil a small pan of water, a couple cups of hot water. And then you can, once that's boiling, you can go over there every 10, 15 minutes and pour that down the drain. That'll get rid of a lot of that gunk that's built up that causes a lot of odor. I'm sure you can smell it when your dishwasher starts to drain. You can smell that kind of rotten egg smell. It may not always be coming from your dishwasher. You might be getting the smell from that disposal. So keeping that clean is super helpful. And then once you get that down in there, you can establish power again and then run some water and just let the garbage disposal run for about a minute and let it rinse out. That's great for the garbage disposal. But once again, always refer to the manufacturer to ensure that you understand the components that are inside there. So if there happens to be an aluminum part, you know you're not causing any damage. So really all this boils down to is doing your research on what you own. As far as washers, that bellows or that membrane that goes between the tub on a front loader and that door, really it's wiping it dry every time. Once you wash clothes, get them out of there promptly, because the more they sit, they start to build up mildew and they can stink even after a few hours, even more so if you leave them in there for a day. But if you continually keep that dry and just kind of pull that out and keep it dry, that's great. I would not use any aggressive detergents or anything like that. They do sell like pods that you can put in a washing machine and run it. So if you're performing that maybe 2, 3 times a year, and then you're throwing some baking soda in the washer and running that on a cycle with no loads in it, that can help you, because the thing that you want to prevent, if you want to prevent mold and this buildup in your machines, really avoid using fabric softener and overuse of detergents. Fabric softener, we tend to overuse. It coats everything. It starts to coat the screens for your drain pump, and that can cause issues. In your dryer, it can coat the sensors, and now it can't operate at its set temperature. So you can put a load in, and it kind of overheats. It goes past the set point. So if it's 180 degrees, by the time that heat gets through the sensor and it's sticky fabric softener and you got lint sticking to it, now it's going way higher. And because of the differential, it's going back down before that cycles its heat on and off, maybe a 15-degree differential. But the dirtier it gets, the more you overuse these detergents and fabric softeners, it coats these components and it starts to put them out of the operational parameters. So now you got this big window of turning off and on. Now you got extended dry times. You have a washer that's not draining as efficiently as it should.
And I'm so glad that you brought that up. As a house cleaner, I can't tell you how many times a week I get the question, how do we clean out that inside rim? And I love the front load washing machines. They're so convenient. They're just awesome. And it's fun to watch the clothes spinning around. But the clothes, and I want us to just walk through this logically for just a second. The clothes are being washed, so there's water inside, there's moisture inside. And so when we open the door, we've been told and trained to leave the door open after the wash so that it can air out. But because of the folds of the bellows of that rim that goes between the door and the drum of your washing machine, what happens is it folds over, and it's kind of like it's closing a little door to trap everything inside. And you have to kind of open it up and with the dry cloth clean that out. And I'll share a secret with you. They sell these little stick on hooks. You can find them at the hardware store, at Walmart, or whatever. You just peel the little sticker off and you stick it on, and it doesn't damage if you peel it off. It's like a little, what do you call it, a command strip thing. And you just stick it on the side of the dryer with a terry cloth. And the terry cloth is just a simple cloth that will hang on the side of your washing machine or dryer. And when you open the laundry, if you'll take that cloth and you'll clean out the inside of that, you'll dry that with like half of the cloth, flip the cloth over, and then wipe the inside of the glass door so that that's dry, and wipe around the seal of that as well. And if you will wipe those two areas and you will keep those areas dry, and it's clean because you've just done a load of laundry, you can just hang your cloth back up there and let it dry. And then every couple of times, throw it in the washing machine and wash it and let it go through a cycle. But if you will keep that dry after every single load, it will keep your washing machine really nice. But once you get to the point where you've got mold and hair gunk and all the stuff that's trapped in there because it does. It traps hair. It's bobby pins and hair elastics and whatever else goes through the dryer, Q-tips. If it's anything that's in your pocket, receipts or whatever, it will trap all that inside that rim. So clean that out and then dry it, and your washing machine will be so much happier. I love that as a tip. Our time is up, and I knew this would happen. I have learned so much. This has been so incredibly helpful. James, please tell our listeners where they can go to find you, learn more about you.
Absolutely. So my email, I'm always monitoring that. It's james.copeland@prismspecialties.com. Feel free to email me. As I said, I'm constantly monitoring it. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions you have. I'm happy to help the masses.
Well, thank you so much. And also, I'm going to leave links in the notes below to James' website as well as his email address. I really appreciate you guys joining us. And James, I appreciate your time and attention today. You have been immensely helpful as we move through the new year to take care of the appliances that we've invested so much in. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much for today.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you and Happy New Year to all of you as well.